What's going on, Moto fans? Transmitting from the future free state of Greater Idaho, I am the one-armed madman. Boy, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm not talking about fat guys coming down chimneys. No! It's A1 tomorrow, baby. We got A1. Man, this is going to be a stack season. We've got 450 champs. I think I heard somebody say 15 overall champs in the 450 class. Is it the most stacked season we've ever seen? I can't deny it. I mean, I was around for Ricky and Stu. They were incredible. But look at this gate. Look at the lineup. You know, Ricky, besides Stu, he had to deal with Tim Ferry. Tim Ferry had a couple wins on him, but nothing like the gate we got going now. So let's go top five. Starting out with the 250 class, I've got Julian Beaumare coming in at 5th place. The kid looked good in press day today. I like that he comes from a different background. I didn't start racing moto till I was 15. Obviously, I never made it to pro class, but I was an A rider. I did okay. What got me from being a novice rider, like the rest of the guys I was racing with, to an A rider was because I grew up in the mountains. Cow Mountain, Northern California. Steep terrain. We're talking hills littered with clutch and brake levers. Fenders everywhere. That's how you learn how to ride. Not out on the track the first time. Some of these kids go out, they hit a hill the first time, they don't know what the hell to do. So I'm fired up on this kid. I think he's going to be good. 4th place, Jordan Smith. I like vets. I like this kid. I think he's got a lot of skill, a lot of talent. I'm waiting to see if he's going to be able to put it together. I mean, last year, had a couple of good races, showed some good signs, and then he had that night where he didn't even make the main. He gets tangled up with his teammate. What the hell is going on? At least they've got these guys split up. We've got, Deegan's coming in on the East Coast. I heard somebody say today that he's hurt. That can't be great. But, he's a kid. Let's see if he bounces back. All right, 4th place, Nate Thrasher. I kind of have him in the same boat as Jordan Smith. I could see these guys flipping either or. To me, they're essentially the same rider. I think Thrasher's a little bit younger than Smith, but these guys are just hit and miss. I mean, after being in, and you could look at this in 2 different ways. I've been in a class before where I've been the older guy in the class, and you come in to the next season, you go, man, I'm here. This is my time. Homeboy moved up. This other guy moved to a different series. He's racing this. He's racing that. This is my year. But every year, somebody else shows up. Somebody got better. Some new rookie comes in and just blows everybody's doors off. So I could see these guys coming in high on confidence, but I could also see them coming in thinking, man, these kids are going fast, and if I don't put it together, I'm going to be looking for a new ride next year. All right, let's move it to the podium. Oh, wait. Yeah, let's go to the podium. Screw it. My notes are screwy. Joe Shimoda, 4th place. Oh, I just said podium. Now we're going to 4th. Let's go. Joe Shimoda in 4th place. I have 0 confidence in Joe, and I think he has even less confidence in himself. It looks like you could blow him over with a strong breeze, and he's gone. We'll see how he does on the new bike. I think that the Honda is probably not as great a 250 as people lead it on to be. I think Jet and Hunter rode the shit out of those bikes, and they were able to do things on them that I am not confident Joe is going to be able to do. He's riding with these guys during the week, so he's going to be getting a lot of good time in, but that doesn't help you on race day. A lot of these guys come in high on confidence during the week and then come into race day and they just can't get it together. I had a problem sleeping every night before race night. I was up, rolling around, popping sleeping pills. Who knows what these guys have gotten going on, but I don't think Joe's going to do it this year. This should be his year. Everything's set up for him to be the guy. HRC, the guy. I just don't see it happening. 3rd place. I've got Max Volan coming in 3rd place, and I am high on this kid this year. I think that Austrian bike did not mix with him. It seems to me that this Austrian bike works really well for guys who hammer things. RJ, Barsha, these guys just hammer stuff, and it seems like the bike works well for them. But then you get guys like Max they want to dance and tiptoe around. He's a BMX guy. He needs to be able to move and have a nimble bike. I think this Kawasaki is going to mesh well with him. I think that the bike is underrated. Last year, everybody saw at one point they just started screaming out of the gate and they were gone. I think that Max is going to have a big year this year. I think that this probably should be his first or second year pro. I watched an interview with him last week that he had no thought that he was going to go to pro yet. He was still supposed to be in Europe for a year. But I think he's going to have a good year this year. I'm looking for him to be on the podium all year. I think he's going to win a race or two as well. Next, second place, Levi Kitchen. Again, I'm high on Levi also. I think the bike is going to do well for him. I think that he's a talented enough rider that even if there is a deficit from going to Star to Kawasaki, that he's going to be able to make up for it. The kid has got so much talent. He's tall. He's able to get up and over the bike. I'm a tall guy. I was a Kawasaki guy. I loved that Kawasaki. Get back on the bike, get up on top of everything, get up on your toes. I think he's going to have a big year this year. If he can get out of the gate and just hammer laps early on, it's going to be tough to beat him. It's going to be really tough to beat him, especially if you give the kid some confidence. But there is a guy in the class that can beat him. He's got the skills. I don't know if he's got the bike, but I think he's got the skills to make up for the bike, and that is RJ Hampshire. That's another vet. I want to see this kid win. I really would love to see him get a title. We've got a lot of guys in the 250 class right now that are in limbo, that they're in their mid-20s, and you've got to perform or you got to go because there's not enough 450 rides for everybody right now. I would love to see a 350 class or a stock 250 class. That would be great too. But a 350 class would really be a great class for guys like RJ and Jordan Smith and maybe even a Thrasher. You get Joey Savacci in there, Colt Nichols. That would be a fun class. And what you do is you just let the Jap bikes run big bores for a couple of years, or they run their 250s, and you force them to make a 350, which is going to be great for the market anyways. The 350 is the ultimate vet bike, and there is literally zero reason that a normal person needs a 450. They are so fast. I've got buddies who get on a bike for the first time, and they jump on a 125, and they go, holy shit. You let children ride these things? They jump on a 450 and they don't know what to do. You flip them over, you go down, and you sell them. I'd love to see these guys get their own class. It would be a really interesting deal. I'd also love to see the stock class. I'd love to see, it's kind of ridiculous that we look at these bikes and go, ooh, this is what I need to buy. That's what I need to buy. These guys on factory bikes, the shootouts mean nothing. Look at Ken Roxon. That bike's a 2012 base model, but he's got so much unobtainium bolted to it that the damn thing's a rocket ship. So I would love to see how these bikes perform stock. Maybe you do a 250 East Coast or a 250 West Coast and a 450 East Coast. That way you can see how both bikes handle for real. And you get decent privateers, and you would have some real racers in these class, guys who can't get rides, It would be an interesting deal. All right. 450 time. I got a lot of names down on the 450. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. 9 guys who, man, I think any of them could take it for any reason. Let's start with a wild card guy. We're going to go wild card for the whole shot, Jorge Prado. This guy could get out front, lead a couple of laps, and really get some good times in. The track is not as gnarly as I thought it was going to be. It looked like it was going to be wetter, and I was thinking this kid could have a shot at a podium if it was wet or rutted or muddy. But, excuse me, I don't think he's going to have podium speed. I'm not even pumped that he's going to have top 5 speed, but he's got the start. If he can get out and get ahead of these guys, and a couple guys get a bad start, they're going to have a hell of a time getting around him. He's got great racecraft. The dude, he rode in front of people that were faster than him all year in MXGP. He was not the fastest guy. He was just the best guy for the year. He was able to keep Hurlings behind him in how many of those qualifying races? If you can keep Hurlings behind you, Cooper Webb's probably not going to be much of a problem. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anderson. I think Anderson's got top 5 speed. I could see him getting on the podium. He's got a new bike. From what everybody says, they like the new bike, but it's still a new bike. I think they're probably going to have some issues. Who knows who they're riding with out at the practice track. I mean, you're not going to have riding with AC is not going to give you a really great metric for what the pace is going to be this year. These guys still don't know what the pace is going to be. We're going to find out what the pace is going to be tomorrow morning in practice. Whoever gets out there and drops that first lap, oh boy, you better be waiting. All right, next, we got Mookie. I think Mookie looks good. Mookie's a big dude. I like that these guys have got some weight on them. I think we're in the era of athletes. Guys like Jake Sexton, Mookie. I was just watching Austin Faulkner's vlog today. That dude's in great shape. Deegan's going to have a tough time with him in the East Coast. You get these guys in their 20s and they put on 20, 30 pounds, and a 16, 17-year-old can't compete with that. When I graduated high school at 18, I was 155 pounds. I had a KX 252 stroke. I was like a flag on the damn thing. But I put on 30 pounds and went from C class to A class in a couple of years. I didn't gain much skills. I was riding with better guys in Temecula than I was riding with in Southern California or in Northern California. But essentially, I had all the skills that I needed from day one. I just needed to put it all together and have the strength to hang on to the bike. So I'm looking for these bigger guys to start making moves. These bikes are so fast. They've got so much power that an extra 20, 30 pounds is not going to mess with your power at all. I think I remember back in the day, it was 7 pounds per horsepower. My dad used to say, oh man, I'll shed 7 pounds in a sitting. Y'all know what I'm talking about there. All right, next, Cooper Webb. Cooper, I think he's going to have a tough weekend. He looks a little more fit than I saw him in Paris. He looked good in practice, but I just am not sure that he's going to have it right away. Last year, he did really well towards the end of the season, and I think it's going to take him some time to build. He's going to have to figure that bike out. You know, last year he's cutting down in those ruts through those turns on the inside. I think it's going to take him a little while to kind of get that figured out on the bike. And again, like, he's out there at the Star Goat Farm running with all these 250 kids who are killers. But again, that's not really showing what the pace is. I'm guessing he got on the track with Eli a couple times, so I would imagine he's going to see some speed there. But for the most part, I kind of expect him to have a so-so day. I just think he's not going to have it right away. That being said, I am still looking at him to be a title threat. Not a title favorite, but a title threat. Next, this was a tough one. You can see it. I've got arrows all over the place. I couldn't figure it out. I'm watching the press day today. I'm looking at everybody. There's no whoops. Man, it's tough to make a call once you get up into these top 5. I have got Sexton coming in 4th place off the podium. Man, if you'd have told me last year that the first place guy would be off the podium this year, I'd have thought you're crazy. First off, I would have thought that A, Eli won. B, Cooper would have got it if he didn't. Then we're moving down to Sexton. The fact that I know this has been beaten with a dead horse by every other pundit in the game, but the fact that he left a bike that went 22-0 without, I've heard him say that he should have went towards some of those settings, that his settings were off towards the end of the year. The fact that you can come off of a bike that goes 22-0 and the kid looked so buttery smooth on it, and you go, it's the bike. These guys are out of their minds. I don't know what to say about it. Again, like, I think with the 250, I'm not convinced that the Honda 450 is the best bike in the class. In fact, I don't think it's the best bike in the class. I think that these kids are able to ride the shit out of it. And I would think, that Honda would have done a little bit more to get him on the bike that was winning instead of the bike that was putting him on the ground left and right. But we'll see what happens. I think he's a head case, to be honest. I think the kid's a head case. I think he's got problems with pressure, and I think he wanted to beat Jet so bad that he just couldn't put it together. We'll see how he does tomorrow. Again, I am not looking for him to have a great day. And now that I look at it, we're actually bumping him from 4th down to 5th because I didn't write numbers next to anybody's names, and I'm an idiot. I've got Hunter coming in 4th place. I think that Hunter is going to be a lot faster and a lot savvier than a lot of people think. I don't think he's a title threat. I think that he is a threat to be a race winner. I would not be surprised if he wins a race or two this year. I think if he gets out front and his brother's in second, his brother's not going to race him that hard, and he's going to do a pretty good job of keeping people behind him. So I would not be surprised at all if Hunter comes in with a couple wins this year, maybe finishes off the season on the podium. It I hate to look at injuries before the season even starts. Last year was so devastating that you don't even want to think about who's going to get hurt this year. But inevitably, some people are going to get hurt. Historically, you would probably have to lump Hunter in that pile. I'm thinking he's probably going to have some luck this year. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on him to win. His brother is obviously the guy. And I think they're just kind of going to have him out there feeling it out. He's going to have a little bit of an AC type of season, I would think. Probably faster, going to have a little bit better finishes, but I don't think we're going to see him push the envelope all that often. I think he's just going to kind of get his feet wet and get into the class, and then we'll see a little bit more from him in motocross. By next year, I expect him to be a title threat. Complete title threat by next year. We'll see. Let's move it to the podium. This is tough. I got arrows everywhere. In third place, Ken Roxon. And to be honest, I had Kenny at first at one point this day, during the day. I thought Kenny's got no pressure on him. He's, coming in under the radar. He had a really great year last year. I don't think he was overworked. I think he's feeling really good coming in this year, and I expect him to be fast tomorrow. He looked fast in press day today. He looked smooth. He was throwing the bike upside down. I would not be surprised if Kenny comes out, whole shots, and wins tomorrow. But I'm going to leave him here at third place. Second place, Eli Tomac. It's wild. The dude tore his Achilles last year. My dad tore his Achilles when I was a kid. Racing at Hangtown, downhill double, false neutral. I got landed on. Guy landed on me, broke his femur. My dad thinks I died, so he goes jumping over the fence in the stands. He thought somebody hit him in the back of the leg for jumping over him, so he turns around ready to beat the hell out of somebody, and turns out he tore his damn Achilles tendon. They had to put weed whacker line all through him. He ended up jumping into the pool a year later and tore it again. So when I saw it was a torn Achilles, I was like, oh, he's done. There's no way. You don't come back from an injury like that, especially not to be able to make it an A1. But goddamn if medical, technology hasn't gone fast. I mean, looking at some of the things that are available since I've lost my hand, I'm not even convinced that if I got hurt today that I would have lost my hand. I think they may have been able to save it just 8 years later. But that being said, man, Eli doesn't have a lot of changes. He got a lot of rest. I mean, his body is probably feeling better now than it has in the past 5 years. I mean, some of the best races I ever had were coming off of injuries, just because while you're letting that ankle or that knee or whatever heal, the rest of your body gets to calm down. That shoulder that's been nagging you, that cracked rib, that pulled muscle, your ankle that's been cracking and popping and crunching for the last 6 months, everything just gets to calm down a little bit. And I think that he is going to come in fast. I think he's looking to beat Jet. I don't think that he's going for broke tomorrow. I think that he's smart enough that he knows that this is a long championship and that Jet's a rookie and he's probably going to make a mistake or two. I expect Jet to have a couple of bad races, whether it's a crash, a bad start, we'll see how it goes. But I think that Eli is savvy. He's smart. He is the vet of the class. He's not the old Chiz, Chiz. But Eli, as far as savvy vets go, he's the man. And I think that at this point, he's my title favorite. I think Jet's going to come out and blow everybody's doors off tomorrow. I think he's going to smoke everyone. I think he's going to come out. I already saw that he did what do you call it? What's a Cinco? He Cincoed out of something. He Cinco de Mayo, the rhythm section. It's wild. I think he's going to blow everyone's doors off. He's going to come out and he's going to smoke everybody in practice by a second or two. And it's going to be a head scratcher for a lot of guys, but I don't think it's going to be a head scratcher for Eli. I think he's going to come out. He's going to go, okay, this is the pace. I see what you're doing. I'll be back next week or the week after. and I would expect him to be on the pace sooner rather than later, if not right away. Man, what a day. I am so pumped. I can't wait. Until next time, we'll see y'all later. Peace out.